the shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow RezNeck, Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown. With each step we take, closer to home.
Welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. How's everyone doing tonight? I want to say thank you for tuning in. Tonight's guest is a new friend of mine. She is Michelle Roos. Bring her on up.
Hello,
What's
new
up, Michelle?
friend.
Now, for all you that follow me on Facebook, I hinted it around that I got on the road this weekend and I was somewhere. I was off the reservation. And I didn't tell you guys where. Well, this is who I was hanging with this weekend. Right here, this lovely lady. Her and her amazing team, RIP, Riverside Iowa Paranormal. So, how we doing tonight, Michelle?
Actually doing wonderful, and thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, this weekend was a blast.
It was
so glad that you were able to join us. And, it was actually a really new place for us. So the stuff that we did get with, the guests that we had was very interesting, and I know there's more to unravel.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I wasn't disappointed. I was kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah, that place is like an onion. The more you go back, the more layers you're going to be able to peel back. And the more you're going to learn about that story of that location and of the land, too. Because there's a lot of things I picked up on that were land-based versus actual location.
Oh, absolutely. And, we have to keep an account, too, that the way it was set up, the town itself, it's a small town. It's right on the Mississippi. I mean, literally, we were able to dip our toes in there if we wanted to. So, being that type of place, the location we were at, I feel like it's, more and more is going to come. The more we do something, the more it's going to happen,
Oh, yes, definitely. So now before we get too far ahead here, why don't you tell my followers here and people in the chats a little bit about yourself?
Well, where to start? So, I started having or seeing things as a younger child. And to kind of explain to everybody, I am a physical medium. I'm not a psychic medium and stuff. I do get some of that every once in a while, but I see spirit at the time of their death or leading up to their death of what was going on. So, but I see them like I see you, Rez. I mean, just that way. Yep. So sometimes I got to kind of stop over and go, oh my God, and find out, are you real or not?
Right.
But when you're younger, those look like nightmares. We have our imaginary friends. Well, mine were really creepy and spooky looking, but you couldn't talk about it. You got to remember, the paranormal was a taboo for so long until it started on TV. So trying to deal with that, I was able to start suppressing it a lot. It's not real. It's not real. Because you don't know if you're going dang crazy.
Right.
So it was kind of one of those, oh my God. But after, getting older and kind of taking that, how they always say, sometimes you just got to be still. It came full-fledged, what I mean? And so what that was kind of, how do I deal with it? How does it make sense to me? And so I started, this was all done on, hello, all done for my own journey. It wasn't done to, be number one or do this or do that. It was more trying to figure out, how do I deal with this on a day-to-day basis? And so that's when I started getting into, because I started seeing more of the negative energies that would surround things, and had come to the conclusion that when I say I speak for spirit, I literally do speak for them. I don't speak for the living.
Right.
Telling the untold stories of them, not what's in a, what's in an actual history book, but what was really happening behind closed doors. So it was kind of, that's where the journey led me into demonology and all this kind of stuff, because it was helping me figure me out and navigate life as is.
You mentioned demonology. It's something that actually I studied into for a little bit. Very interesting thing to look into, but you have to be very strong-willed and strong in your faith for it. Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit on your side here. What actually drove you into that demonology study? 'Cause
Well,
with me, it was to help people. I
yeah.
wanted to help other families that were running through the gambit of the issues of the potential of demonic possessions.
Well, and people have to understand demonology and being a demonologist is the study of. It is not you running through a house with a big cross and say demons be gone. But
Right.
it's kind of a, it's, like tarot readers have their cards as a tool. Demonology, learning and walking through that helped kind of guide what did I need, and stuff like that. So that's kind of what it was for me. My thing is, when I see a lot of negative energy, we want to hurry up and give a lot of the energy to everything's demons.
Yeah.
Well, when you work with very negative energy and stuff like that, it will mimic something that could be demonic. And you've got to be able to filter that through, because especially if you're working with families, you don't want to tell them the house is full with demons,
Right.
because then you have lost them. So when I see negative energy form, even if it's self-manifested, it kind of looks like creatures to me. The best way to explain it, I explain it to everyone, is if you guys have ever seen the movie Alien, it forms that type of creature, because it's just negative force. It's just constantly just building and building into it. And so that way I can navigate, oh, is this been from a lot of spirit negativity or, life negativity, or is it actually something that's, if I can't figure it out, then now we're talking, it's the real thing.
Right.
And so that is why I got into demonology, to be able to kind of walk the path I walk, because I see a lot of that negative energy stuff. Now, telling you guys, I'm not a dark person. It just happens.
She is a very happy, good person, high spirited. So I've never seen her negative yet. I've worked with her a few times.
No. And again, I bring in a lot of light. And so, and when we talk about that, you have to remember. So, when we look at history books and it talks about someone who was very influential in their town, everybody sees what he's showing out there or she's showing out there. But when you actually go behind closed doors, what did that look like? And a lot of times it was women and children didn't have a voice. You did what you were told. You had, that persona to carry along. But I start seeing all the different types of abuse going on in the house and everything. And if the wife or the children or whoever, died at the hands of that story starts unraveling, because I see them in that state and they're like trying to say what they need to say. And that's kind of where a lot of that darkness comes from, because that is the darker side of history that we just shove under the carpet.
Yep. And the more you shove it under the carpet, eventually it's going to boil over. And then now you got a huge mess there.
There's your self-manifestation of negative energy. Yep.
So that's one thing. And, another thing with today's crazes of everything's a demon on YouTube. I'm sorry, I call bullshit. A demon's not going to tell you it's a demon through a spirit box. It's not going to say, hey, I'm a demon. because
yo.
right, yo, I'm here for the party. What's up, y'all? Ain't gonna happen.
Right.
It's gonna come across something innocent, something pure, maybe even a loved one, to gain your trust and get into you, for you to accept them into your life. So,
and people have to understand infestation or oppression is really the two biggest things you see. Possession is rare. And you got to remember the reason being is you have to invite it in.
Yep. Okay? You have to accept it into your life.
Yes. So, but the oppression is what is the breakdown of everything. The infestation, I mean, they can sit back. People got to remember, demons can walk into church.
Mm-hmm.
Demons can be anywhere. And they're just going to sit back and wait until they find that just right time to start messing with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not one where they're just going to come in one day in your house and be like, hey, I'm here, Yeah. And so when we start getting some of that understanding of things, it kind of helps navigate. But again, because it's out there so much, that, it's kind of one of those when you are trying to help a family, and stuff like that, they're kind of gripped on it. And so now you're losing them, and that oppression gets harder and harder. And I'm going to tell you, you lose more people that way than you do to a possession.
Yeah, because it's going to wear you down. There's nothing left. You have no will, no want, no drive. To the point where you just go, I'm done. Do what you gotta do. And that's the sad part. So those that do suffer, if we can get them to reach out, or if your family members see something, reach out for help. All right, don't be scared. It could be a mental issue. It could be a demon. Not saying it doesn't happen. But usually there's something underlying there that you need some help with.
Well, and that's the thing. And, I know a lot of the church itself really has to watch that now more and more because, again, there was a lot of botched exorcisms, right?
Yeah.
And, but what you have to remember too, because mental illness and almost like a possession or oppression really, follow that fine line, and you have to navigate that because the person you're dealing with, they're the ones that have to be the strongest because they're fighting that away. You're helping them with the fight, but you can't do the fight for them.
Nope.
And so people really have to understand, when you're working with this kind of stuff, you're navigating through it. You have to do the homework. There is so much paperwork. There is so much stuff. And you get down to the nitty gritty when you're actually talking with these people and trying to get it. So this way you can filter everything out to know what you're doing.
Exactly. So, well, let's leave the little bit of demon talk behind now. We're going to have some better topics here. A little bit of lighter side of things.
Yeah.
So you're the founder of RIP, Riverside Iowa Paranormal. How long ago did that start, and what made you want to start your own team?
Well, started in 2014, and it became a thing where we wanted to start helping people. When everything started breaking through to TV, it all became, where are all the locations? Let's go to the cool locations. And what was happening, just because it wasn't on TV, didn't mean there wasn't people out there helping families with this. It just wasn't all over the place. But that was starting to dwindle down because if it wasn't able to get, anything on Facebook or whatever, people weren't going there to do that. So the main goal was helping families in need. And then as we were looking at it, we're like, we're not going to charge these people. We can't.
Oh, you shouldn't. Right? I'm a firm believer. When you go in and do an investigation in someone's house to help a family, there's no charge there.
No. And so, but you got to be realistic too, because sometimes depending on how far you drive, what you do and things like that. Yep. So that's when the events start becoming a thing. Now, remember when we started doing some of this, there were a lot of locations that were just up and coming that were needing help too. So when we did that, what we did was we did that 50% of what we made went for historical preservation to the location to help.
I love that. I really do.
And the other half stayed in a fund that only was used. So when we were going to help families, would help the team with whatever needed to be done at that point. And that's kind of how that all started just coming forth. And we've been doing it ever since that way.
It's very cool. You know, I love that, especially being able to help the community, to give back to the locations and the communities that need help. You know, that's a good thing. I wish more teams would do that. You know, it irritates me every time I hear about, oh, well, they wanted to charge me to come out. Or you find out that churches are charging people to come out to their homes to help out.
Yeah.
That irritates me really bad. It rubs the wrong way.
Well, and you got to remember, you know, a lot of these locations, they do need help because, you know, they're the ones that make sure, you know, if there's electricity, lights are on, things like that. And again, you know, I had a conversation about this today. There are some locations now because they were seen on TV. But at the same time, now that they were on TV, they think they have to overcharge. And that's not how it should be. So
yeah, the prices in some of these paying places is ridiculous. That's why half of them I ain't been to. To be honest with you, I'd rather go somewhere that hasn't been over investigated, that you can go in and basically start with a fresh slate and see what's there.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we do. We try to find those little diamonds in the rough. I mean, there's one in Washington, Iowa. Would never thought anything about it. And I will tell you, that place is wild. And it's an old Victorian house, you know, so it's kind of one of those we're like, okay, let's go ahead and do an event, see what happens. And we're just like, whoa, you know, but helping the owners, keeping that place up because, you know, they don't always get, I mean, Washington, Iowa is not a very big place. So, you know, I would rather have money given to those people to help them continue what they're doing. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yep. I hear you. There's a little location right here, about 10 miles from home, in a little town of Gresham, Wisconsin, that I went in and took a group of friends with, and the place was active. We were the first people ever to go in there. And it was like the spirits wanted someone to talk to. They wanted someone to interact with. Not only were they interacting with us with our mediumship, but the equipment was going nuts. It was insane. And it's like some of these pay-to-play places I've been to, I've had way less activity there and had to pay to go there. Where this place, I just happened to stumble across, say, hey, you know, I want to do a walkthrough. I'm interested in your building. And then all of a sudden, I get blindsided.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I would love to come back with a team, do some investigating, because you got some stuff going on here. And actually, two of the people that came up and helped me with that initial investigation run a haunted location. And they're like, this place is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping maybe in the future, come up enough cash to buy the location and preserve it. I think it'd be really nice. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I got to follow what the creator has in plan for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, well, what else would you like to talk about here, darling?
We can talk about whatever you want.
Well, bring some to the table.
Bring some table.
What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. We can talk about anything. I mean, there's got to be questions out there, right?
Right.
I mean,
Okay, well, you do tours all over the place.
Yes,
Let's
I do.
go there.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of the places you've gone, some of the places you are going.
Well, I've been to Scotland, and Ireland. And
Ireland I want to go to.
Yeah. And I am doing a trip in 2027 in July to Romania. So these are trips to do, you know, some paranormal, some history, a little bit of everything. So it's kind of a mix of things. And people can actually join me to do these things. I do this with Secret Ireland tours, and I love the way it's set up. So being an ambassador for that is great because the payments, you can do like payment plans,
Yeah.
no interest, very small payments. So it
Nice.
fits everybody's budget.
Right.
And there's a long period of time that you can do it that you're paid off early enough to still be able to get that because your hotel, everything is all set up for you. So when you get off the plane,
Sweet.
you go to the hotel, the keys are waiting for you. And it's really great because then we also, there's our tour manager that's there, takes care of all the history, takes care of everybody there. And I go along and we just have a good time. Just we check everything out, do a little investigations, things like that. And I gotta say, it's been an amazing thing, and I love it because we're all experiencing this stuff for the first time. So
Awesome. I'd love to do something like that. Besides, I think you need I had a security manager to walk with you on these trips. So, you're a little petite thing, so you need something
yeah,
big like a gorilla or a Sasquatch to come with you, and you got a 300-pound 6-foot Sasquatch right here.
there you go.
I'm throwing my hat in the ring for head of security for you.
Okay,
All right. I'll
all
be
right,
waiting for my contract and my ticket to show up in the mail.
got it.
All right.
I am working on something really big for 2028.
Okay.
Can't say much now, but I'm throwing it out there. It's gonna be pretty big.
Okay.
We're working on it right now, so as soon as we get everything together, I'll be posting it on all over the place. So super excited about that too.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see here. What else we got? We got a lot of things that we can talk about. That's the hard part when you have so much to pull from. Where do you pull?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite pay to play location, do you think?
My favorite location?
Yeah.
I don't really have one, but like I said, I like the little diamonds and the rough ones. Those are my
Yep.
favorite. And the reason being is because they haven't been oversaturated. And
Oh.
yeah, so I don't do readings for people. I'm sorry that because you probably wouldn't like the readings I give. But thank you.
Yeah.
I have done that before and it went really bad. But I
Yeah.
like those because, like you said, the more you go to them, the more things unravel. And a lot of times, those are the places that used to be homes to people who had stories while they were living there and never knew what really it was. But, other than that, some of the big places have been great. I've been to Missouri State Pen. I really love that place.
Okay.
Been to Broadhead Manor a whole bunch of times, and
That's
I
my
gotta
home haunt.
say, I love that place too because every time I've been there, there's something different.
Yeah.
And, because it's like it just keeps waking up a little bit and more and more and more. And so I
Hmm.
do like that. But I think it's also those places, the people who are running those, the energy and the intent that they have is what
Yeah.
keeps the things going. And I think
Definitely.
that plays a big, big role.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially with Broadhead, with Bill being the owner and maintaining it and running,
Yeah.
and the group that he has that comes in there every year and helps out.
Yeah.
Them all being such a close knit group and all their personalities, energies, that helps a lot with that location.
Yeah.
It really does. I've been there. I can't count how many times now over the last several years. And the very first time I ever went to that location, I was drawn there to come back. I spent a year hearing it calling me back, saying, "You need to get back down here."
That's
Got
cool.
got to become friends with Bill, and came down for a few events, and now it's my home away from home.
Yeah. And
You know,
again, there are some places out there that are still like that. I'm going to kind of flip it a little bit because about the reading thing. So just a quick story. I
Oh,
do give readings, but these are different. These are more of a spiritual reading and regrowth. So in other words, I tear you completely down when we do it together. I can tap into what might have happened in your past, that things are happening to you, and try to help you rebuild. So those are kind of my readings. A lot of times, since I don't always get to give those beautiful love notes,
Yeah.
but if the place is right, or maybe I'm in a location and some of the people are there, sometimes that comes up too. But you had witnessed it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The reading wasn't a super love note. It was more of a confirmation of what they already thought. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's why I always say, do you trust me? And are you okay with the truth? Because I had one lady just would not let up at a place, at an event, a couple of them. And kept saying, nope, I can't tell you what, because I was getting stuff. And I'm like, oh no, she's not going to want to hear this. And I just keep my mouth shut. And she goes, I know you're getting something. I just know my grandma's here. I just know it. And I'm just like, okay. And then all of a sudden I asked the same question. Do you trust me? Can you handle the truth?
Right.
And all of a sudden I just kind of channeled it. Grandma came through. And all I said was, why do you even want to talk to me? You left me in the bed. I had bed sores and skin stuff, and you and your boyfriend stole things from me and stuff. And I'm just like, and I couldn't stop because grandma was constantly coming through. That's how angry this old lady was. Yep. And the girl goes, well, and I'm like, oh.
You hit a nerve.
But you did say you trusted me and you wanted to know the truth. So that's why I was like, well, maybe I just don't sit at a table and say, hey, come here. I got to tell you something. Girl, she's been watching you. You know.
Yeah, it's I don't promise nothing when I give readings. Whatever comes through, comes through. This is what you get. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and it happened to us this weekend because we had to keep navigating, because I'm like, I just kept going to that lady because the reading was so strong, needed it. But the biggest thing she had to take from it was, you need to keep looking because you need to know the truth.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I'm like, but I couldn't stop myself. He was like constantly coming through, because being a physical medium, it channels through you too. And so it was kind of like, and I kept telling you, I want to tell her, but I just can't.
Right.
But when they left and they validated us, saying,
yes,
well, that was the first thing that came to our mind, that, that wasn't all natural causes. I'm like, shoo.
Right. Yeah. When you get stuff like that as a medium, you don't always want to say it outright, because, you don't want to hurt anybody or offend them, but in this case, they were looking for answers, so they opened Pandora's box on their own.
Yeah, because I knew as soon as she walked in, he comes slapping me, and I'm like, oh, she's here for one reason only.
Yeah, well, that's like when we were standing on the stage and we were doing all the introductions, I kind of came up to you and whispered in your ear, like, something's with that one over there.
Yeah.
I just could feel the presence looming.
Well, and again, when we're talking about readings, and because of us physical, we're physical beings, we always have to have some kind of closure. We feel like we always need a closure for something. And sometimes there's just no closure. It's just a continuation. But when it comes to spirit, there's certain closures for them. And that's why I always have to be very real with people, because I can't sit here and promise you, a rose garden. But sometimes the other side, there could have been something they took with them that they could never tell you. And now they're about to tell you, and that's, like I said, this weekend, it happened that way. And it was, you're on the right track. Stop looking for the truth. And that's all he just kept repeating and repeating. I can't tell you no more. She goes, is he saying something else? Well, no, he's trying to put it in your head. This is what you need to focus on. Right. And so, a lot of times that happens. Now, I have watched other psychic mediums do all these great, amazing things. And I sit there and sometimes I'm like, God, I wish I could do that. But then I stop myself because I'm like, no,
I am
because
who I am.
I am who I am. And I know that I am supposed to tell the stories of spirit.
Yeah.
Whatever spirit wants me to say, that's why they channel through me. It's for them. And so sometimes I got to take that physical piece out of it and go, I just got to tell you, I mean, I was at another location. A funny story. I was told, yes, these people trapped demons because they know how to work with them, and that's what they did. And I'm like, excuse me, you say what? And I
boy.
that. But the funny thing is, one person that was there at the event kept saying, yes, I've been coming here a whole bunch because I know as soon as I get this, it calls me and I don't think they've left. And I know about these demons and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and all I kept getting was a picture of somebody that had passed, but I wasn't sure who it was, but trying to get me to tell this girl she needs to stop it now, because if not, her young daughter is going to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not saying that at all. You don't say that to somebody.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the living room going, nope. I kept stepping outside. No, you're not doing this. You're not doing it. Nope. And then all of a sudden I caught myself saying, can I tell you the truth? And she goes, yes. And I'm like, shit. And I was like, here's the thing. You got a young child at home, don't you? Yeah. You're messing with the wrong stuff, and it's going to go home with you, and your child is going to get hurt.
It's going to find a way to attack you where it hurts the most. And as a parent, the weakest link in our armor is our love for our children.
And the funny thing is, my team's there. And so as soon as I say, can I tell you the truth? You can hear everybody go, oh, damn.
I can see your team doing that, kind of just shaking their head going, oh boy.
Here we go.
Strap in for a wild ride.
Yep, it's about to happen. And as soon as you say, yes, you can handle the truth, and it comes out. And the bad thing is, when I get going, it doesn't stop until I fight it out, because it's like,
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's like sometimes, I think someone had compared it to paranormal vomiting or metaphysical vomiting.
Yes.
It just spews out of you until it stops and there's nothing left to say.
And then I catch myself, oh, I'm so sorry. Because I, as the physical piece of it, I'm sorry. But in the back of my mind is like, you asked for it. I mean, so,
I was always told years ago, don't ask for answers to questions you're not ready for.
Very true. Very true.
And that's what a lot of people, they expect the happy, lovey, hunky-dory stuff, but that's not always true. That's not always what's there for you. Sometimes you have to learn that message. It might be hard. And as mediums, some of us might try to sugarcoat it. Some might try to dance around it. But either way, that message is for you.
Yeah.
It's not for us. It's not for the guy next to you. It's for you.
Correct.
So, it doesn't have to make sense to us as long as it makes sense to you.
Yeah.
That's where I've learned that, I don't know what the hell this means, but this is what I'm getting. And then people go, oh, yeah, that's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay. Makes sense now.
Yeah, because you have to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I can't switch how I do it, so I fit in a box. There are too many wonderful mediums out there. I'm not crossing that line. That is your guys' stuff. But I love what you guys do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I do get some of those, You know, every once in a while it'll pop. If the energy is right in a location, sometimes they can funnel their way through, you know, but something I really do look at and go, because it does. It's warm, it's fuzzy, it feels
Mhm.
great, and it seems like it helps a lot of people. And I'm just like, do I want to do that? No, not really.
Yeah. But
No.
you are helping people with what you do.
Yeah.
And even though as a physical medium, you're still a healer. Because if you look at it, even take the example this weekend, for example, you put ease into the hearts of them people that were asking the questions.
Yeah.
You gave them confirmation, which made it healed them a little bit. So that's why I'm a firm believer. All mediums are healers. It's just how you go about doing it and what your gifts and your tools presented as.
Correct.
So there's no comparing. We're all different in different ways, but we all do the same thing, and that's do a service to spirit and help the living.
The thing is too, and I love with working with a lot of people who have abilities, because I feel like if you get that right combination, it's so weird how everybody kind of sees what each other see,
Yep.
in different variations. And it doesn't happen all the time. Again, you have to have the right energies and the trust, because sometimes you get with some that are like, I don't want you to cross my line. But if
Right.
you get with the right ones, it's so great to know that, you're seeing one way, I'm seeing another. And when you put the two pieces together, it was that missing piece the whole time. And now we have just put that story together the way it should, because I didn't catch something or it wasn't coming through, but somehow it tapped through you. And oh my God, I think it is the most amazing thing. I'm always in awe going, oh my God, we did this,
Mhm.
So it's pretty cool.
We've had a few moments in the past like that. We can't really talk about too much of it, but
Yeah.
we had one of the moments where everything kind of just blended together and we were just shooting right
Yes.
back and forth, and we opened up more information that neither one of us knew about.
Yeah. And it's really cool, because again, every information goes to everybody differently. And
Yeah.
again, it doesn't matter. Even, people who are very empathic or sensitive, they might not see, but their feelings actually is part of that story.
Yeah.
If they're feeling a certain pain or they're feeling nauseated and stuff, that is part of the story. That's how it all comes together.
Mhm.
And especially when you're working on private, places, you have to, put in account all that together to find out what is there, why is it affecting you this way, this person this way. And the great thing is then you use your equipment to start validating some of the crazy that's going on to
Yep.
say, okay, we're on the right track, or no, we've went too far this way. And it's really just kind of navigating through it. And it's real important to do that. And we have lost a lot of that.
Yeah.
We've lost that piece. And again, we're doing injustice, not just for the living, but also for spirit,
Yeah.
because now they're noticing there's things they can communicate, but yet we're just throw out whatever. Oh, you said cheeseburger. Oh, okay.
Right.
I mean, no,
There's more to it.
but again, I love when, we do ask those questions. Like we'd heard one of the questions this weekend, what was the headline on the newspaper? We
Yeah.
actually asked the question upstairs. You were in the room, and we asked who was the president.
Yep.
And 3 times it said Grant.
Yep.
So, it was really nice, because then we knew, okay, we are talking to spirits more back in this time.
Yep.
So now we can try to figure these things out, and where does
Yep.
this lead us?
Yep.
So yeah, it was real interesting, and it was interesting to see all of, the guests kind of up there too, like, oh, wait a minute. Yes, yes, yes,
Yep. Yeah, I love it when the guests, when you do an event like this and the guests actually chime in and
Yes.
are asking the questions and are active. You know, it's hard when you go out and do these events and you have like a stone deaf crew with you. They just sit there like a lump on the log and wait for something to light up. Sorry, guys. You got to put your energy out. You got to ask the questions. You got to be a full part of this for it to work, you know, to get the actual answers.
Well, and it could be that even though they're thrilled to be there to do it, sometimes, you know, because I can feel their anxiety and a little nervousness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I think they're worried if they ask a question, they might actually get an answer back and how they're going to respond. So,
right.
You know, everybody's still, you think about a lot of people who come to these events might go out and do a little bit here and there, but it's just because they're very intrigued to see what will happen. But at the same time, in the back of their mind, well, if it doesn't, I'm okay with that, you know? And so I try to respect that piece too. You know what I mean? So
definitely. You know, I'm a firm one to say, hey guys, come on. Let's get involved. You know, don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear about this.
Yeah.
You know? So now, have you ever had like an oh shit moment that made you think maybe you shouldn't be in the paranormal?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of times.
Yeah. You want to talk about one of them?
Yes. So same place. We were at Monroe House. Now, the crazy thing is, we had done a couple of different days. So we started out at one place and then we ended up there. And that's where we actually were having the event. And, you know, we were upstairs, people were doing what they were supposed to do. And of course, you know, you get tripwire lighting, you do things, but I started seeing other stuff and it flipped pretty dark quick. And so, you know, navigating through that and then noticing I'm seeing this like monster looking thing coming at me and I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I actually had pushed myself against the wall. Like, I don't know what that was going to help me with.
Right.
You know, it was like a really bad B movie. I just wasn't tripping in the woods. Okay. I was into the wall going, oh shit. You know. But the crazy thing, after we get it all going and it's just getting bad, you're just like, there's only one door out. Yeah. And then you got to go down these little tiny stairs. And you're looking at the door and you're seeing this face in the door too. And you're just like, you know, which way am I going to, you know, which evil are you going to go after?
Yeah.
And it's different when I'm working in that situation and I already know what I'm going into and doing it. But when you're at an event, yes, you got crazy things going. But when the place flips completely, and it was doing it all night. And it was like, okay, we're not getting anything kind. It's just darker and darker. And it got to the point that one of our teammates is stealthy as all get out. Doesn't jump. He's the one that you'll walk down the hall and didn't realize he's coming up behind you. And he's just like, walks in the dark with nothing. Yep. And it jumped out from one room into the room I was in because it kept saying, scratch him. Scratch him. And I'm like, you don't touch no one.
Right.
And all of a sudden, lifting his shirt, you can just see the scratches coming. And we're like, okay. And then we're like, how many? That wasn't you scratching. You need to stop. And it goes 7. And we're like, what? Another big thing. 7 scratches. I'm standing there going, I got to be strong. I got to be strong. But this is no bueno.
Right.
Nope. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, you know, let's get the lights all up into the ceiling. Let's make bright light. Let's get this going. Mm-hmm. You know, I have got a team member who never gets touched, getting attacked.
Yeah.
And then finally, I brought the light, you know, and I'm doing, you know, St. Michael and just talking. I'm like, this is done. I'm not playing this no more. And all of a sudden, it was like everything lit up, like the sun started coming into the place. You know, and I'm like, still nervous, ready to get out, not knowing which way I'm going. And I'm like, you know, God, we just need a sign that everything's okay. And me and another team member are standing. There's nothing above us except a ceiling.
Yep.
And a penny just drops out of nowhere right between us. And I'm like, oh, this is not God. This is good, but not good. I'm out. So I did have to go outside. I needed to breathe. But that was one where you think about it now, you kind of laugh at it because it would have been one of those crazy horror flick B movies, the way everything was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're like, no, absolutely not, because it was an event for people.
Yeah.
So now your mind's going, oh my God, I brought everyone here to die.
Yeah. Now you're worrying about the safety of everyone you brought in.
And it was bad. It was bad. And the bad thing was I had to sleep there. And I'm like, oh, hey.
Set your sacred space and put that shield up tight.
Oh, that was my sacred space. And I'm like, Jake, I think you can fit in the same sleeping bag because I am not laying here by myself.
All right.
So yeah, that was one of the crazy, because we had so many things leading up to it from the weekend. That was just mind blowing. Everywhere we went, crazy things were happening. People, the way they were talking to us, it was almost like I was walking in another realm. I kept having to figure out, am I really here? And it got me off kilter. So I think I was already getting messed with myself. And I think we all were messing with us, knowing we're coming.
Mm-hmm.
But with that team member getting scratched and hurt the way he did, oh my God, I could just feel, and I had to not be angry. I had to try to stay calm because I didn't want to feed, because I didn't know what I was against.
Right.
So
that's one thing you got to be careful of, is how you approach this when something like this does happen.
Correct.
Because as a team leader and an event coordinator, you're responsible for the safety of your team and those that you bring into the location.
Absolutely.
So that's a big stress there.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to be like, paranormal Rambo,
right?
Not knowing what I was going to get, because I don't know. But when I'm like, you're just messing with us, and then I could see it, I knew it was coming around the corner. And with the team member being in the other room, I'm watching the lights go ding, 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 like it's coming through. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh no, it's messing with me. And then never seen someone jump so high. And if they say white man can't jump, that's false, because I watched jump way over. And like I said, we kind of giggle about it now, but it's still something, that whole weekend, still something there that was like, it knew it was messing, and it was trying to already break me down.
Yep.
So,
well, I'm a firm believer that when we go out to these locations, that these spirits and the entities there already know we're coming before we get there. They know before we know.
Yeah.
So if in like our cases, being mediums, we burn brighter than your average person because we vibrate at a higher level. So therefore, that beacon is already lighting up that location before we get there. And once we hit the property, it's like they see us, So if you have something there that is a little malevolent or just basically a negative spirit, it's going to see us before it sees everyone else. And it's going to start picking at us. It's going to start picking and picking to get their way.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Now, trying to think, if you could go anywhere in the world, and now we know you travel already, but anywhere in the world to investigate any location, money's not an option, security clearances aren't an option, where would you like to go?
Oh my, I don't know. But I'm already going there because it's always been my bucket list, but I'm going there in July. So, but it's definitely Dracula's castle. It's always been kind of
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to do a castle, period.
Yeah, but I don't have just like one place, I think if money was no object stuff, I would travel all over to find new places. I wouldn't just pick one.
Okay.
I think I would just be, just like a gypsy, and just go and just explore the world. Definitely the cultures and because I'm very intrigued by different beliefs and how things come. I I love, like, when I talk to the masters, with the Buddhists, of how do they look at death and how do things work and stuff like that. So I am really into all that.
Hmm.
And I think that if I had money was no object, that would be something I would do. I would love to meet different cultures and find out how they, is paranormal and demons a thing? How do they look at it? What do they do? Stuff like that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'd
I
really
really think
enjoy
it'd be
something like that.
amazing. Yeah.
You had me at Gypsy, because my goal is, once I retire, travel across the country,
Yeah.
investigate, write, film, document everything you do. And for me, it's more for what I can leave behind for future generations,
Yeah,
to,
absolutely.
to not only help them with the information, to teach them, but also to inspire them. I've had a crazy life. And
Yeah.
if you would have told me back at 16 years old, this would be my calling, I would have laughed. Growing up in haunted houses and growing up in the church, I didn't see this happening, even though I was on my first investigation as a young child, because my father was called out to someone's house from the church to say, hey, we're having experienced some things. Can you come out and check this out? So even as a little guy, I was exposed to this back before it even was a phenomenon that we have now.
Well, and that's the thing, it's nothing new, but I think especially when, like myself, I still help families in need with stuff. And, you have to kind of understand different beliefs, because I will hold on to my belief. But when you're going into a home, you have to respect their beliefs, because again, you can't help them if you're doing it on your own. You have to have their help and something that they have to hold on strongly to. So it is really important, to kind of understand that. But that's what the thrill for me is, to do this. I mean, when I spoke to the master, when I went to the Buddhist temple, it was so amazing of what they do when someone passes, and didn't realize the master himself, they pretty much are psychic mediums, or
Mm-hmm.
have sight, would say,
Higher
because
enlightenment.
they help them go on to their next, eternal life, and, guiding them to the first doors of what they need to open to get to where they got to go, and how they light the candle for 30 days to make sure they have the light in the dark to find where they're going. And so, kind of going through all of that, and making sure with the studies, I do, studying of the Bible, the Quran, the different, the book of Enoch. You kind of look at all of this and you're trying to put pieces together to understand everything as a whole. And that's kind of what helps me to be able to continue on with that.
Definitely. I agree with that. Very interesting. So, well, we're getting to the top of the hour here.
Yes.
So, time for the shameless plug time part of the show.
I know this one is so hard, but to do, because yes, I'd love for a lot of people to follow me on Facebook, invite your friends, because I do post a lot on there of things that I'm doing. We also have a Facebook page for Riverside Iowa Paranormal. We do, and we, put things from other people on there too. Anything that we see that's interesting, we want people to know. We share that, more knowledge out there, the better.
Yeah.
I do, if anybody's interested in any of our events or know people that are around that want to go to the event, we do have a website. It's riversideiowa.paranormal.org. It has everything you need to know about us. It also has all our events. It does have, we have video and stuff of what we caught, back in the past. And if you go to secretirelandtours.com, that's where you'll be able to see, of course, my tour that'll be in 2027 to Romania. But if anybody ever needs anything, or, just has questions, you can message me on Facebook. I mean, I will answer, maybe not right away. Sometimes I am busy, but I will always answer somebody if there are something you don't want to put out so everybody sees.
Very cool. What Paracons are you attending this year?
My next one is the Gettysburg Bash.
Okay.
Super excited. Last year was my first time going.
I'm dying to
And
go.
the energy was so amazing because they put this bash on for a good cause. Good causes, I would say. And I think that's why the energy is so amazing. It's not just your traditional con where people just people walk around, but it's more of like a celebration. Everybody talks to everyone, I mean, John Zaffis and I know last year Cody and Satori were there, but they're just amongst everyone. Everyone is like the same, and I love that energy because anybody that came to any of those tables, it was like just friends. And so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Ron and Lourdes were there talking about, their
Love them guys.
stuff.
Good
Oh
friends.
my God, they're amazing. So
spent some time with them last summer.
I get to learn from other people and I'll sit in and listen to all that, which is really great. I will be in Minnesota this year also. Be doing a speaking and it'll be about the Boyd House.
Okay.
Also will be doing a workshop on spiritual cleansing and stuff, especially a lot of the negative energy kind of thing, work and things like that. I mean, I know I've got more stuff, but to be honest, top of my head, I can't remember all of it and I apologize. So if, you guys start following me, you'll see the things pop up.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Go to her page, follow. She's got some great things going on. I know there's a lot of things you can't speak about publicly yet, but you got some big things coming down the pipe work now.
Yes.
So, and this is not the last time you're going to see these two faces together. Just a fair warning. We got some surprises.
Yes.
So, all right then. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just want to thank you and everybody that joined in on the chat tonight and stuff like that. I greatly appreciate it and had a great time.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a blast. So we'll have to have you back later in the date when we have to get some more things out publicly that we can talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right, y'all. So if you're looking for readings, you can reach me on Facebook. I don't check my TikTok messages that much. Sorry, guys, but hit me up. This weekend, you can find me at the Bearded Brothers Brawl at Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. Where else can you catch me so far? There's that one. Of course, again, I'll be down in New Orleans for the NOLA Paracon, and then later in the year, you can catch me out in Mass for the Mass Paracon. And if there's anyone out there that's having events, if you want to come on the show, talk about your event, please hit me up on Facebook. We'll get you on. If you're looking for any help with events, my schedule's pretty free right now. I'm kind of medically retired. For all you know, that's been what's going on in my personal life. So, just hit me up. We'll see what we can do to help you out. And other than that, I'd like to thank you all for coming on tonight. Thank you for being part of the reservation of Misfit Toys, because that's what we're going to start calling all you followers and those that love us and come back every week. So other than that, God bless. Have a good night. Take us away, Glenn.